progressing a little bit more on the bowling side of things, but not too far behind. The point total currently neck to neck.
Exactly. And right now, I think that they're moving on to... Okay, I'm not too sure. Let's see here. They're moving on to a certain boss that starts with memories, but meanwhile, Team Nothing to Lose, they're gonna be moving on to the Electro, which is fine.
Yep, Electro Reg is fine. Just a little bit stronger than its Pyro and Cryo counterparts, gonna provide an extra 20 points in comparison, but not a very high point total at all. Whereas Team Sayonara, wow, going for the Harbingers right now. La Signora, their next target. A weekly boss that I think many of us hate to face because of how her damage over time pierces through shields. And so we can expect that they want to break this down as fast as possible.
Yeah, definitely. And they're going for quite a different strategy. I mean, like normal players like us, normies like us, right? We use like the Pyro Crystal Flies, but no, they decide to just hit that thing down.
Yeah, I'm honestly impressed at how quickly they were able to take it down without constantly relying on those little crystal flies, because yes, a lot of us do that. But now, this is gonna be a very pivotal part, the second phase of La Signora's boss fight. Do they want to burst her down as fast as possible, or do they want to space out her HP to avoid her going into her massive iframes in the Flame Tornado?
Yeah, and it appears that they've reached the second stage of La Signora actually. I have to imagine they're quite close to taking her down, no?
Yeah, what I'm worried about is, will we see the tornado? That is going to be the thing that these teams want to avoid the most when they're going for La Signora, because that's just so much time wasted. But nope, we're not gonna see it so quick from Team Sayonara, not even allowing the boss to utilize her final phase. Team Nothing to Lose now, gonna be going for the Mushroom Chicken themselves, the first boss that Team Sayonara
Oke, untuk sekarang tim kanan mengungguli ya guys ya.
Moving on to the Magu Kenki. Magu Kenki. I don't like how it teleports between its clones. Sometimes like it shadows, like one moment you think you're there, you use all of your elemental burst, and then it just teleports away. It's like, come on, man.
I think teleporting is just a very common issue among the bosses of Genshin Impact. You think you already got them on the ropes, but they just jump away to waste a little bit more of your time. But so far, not a lot of time wasted from either team. Team Sayonara should have not too much problem taking down the Magu Kenki, but now we can see Team Nothing to Lose going for the algorithm of semi and transient matrix of Overseer Network. I still don't know why its name is that long, but it's cool, isn't it? They're gonna try and take it down without having any Electro on their team as well, but that's not proving to be much of a problem.
Yeah, it's definitely not much of an issue actually. I mean, they've already defeated it.
Oh, really quick right there. Team Nothing to Lose making up the point difference and now in the lead against their opponents. Ooh, that's a bit rough there. Xingqiu nearly dropping. You definitely don't want to waste time by dying during this challenge, but looks like they were able to take it down quite simply. They should be able to regain their point lead for now, but with 20 minutes left on the clock, this is still anyone's game.
Yeah, very much anyone's game actually. And right now, Team Nothing to Lose are going to move on to the Electro Hypostasis, one of the first few bosses in the game.
Meanwhile, we can see Team Sayonara going for the Thunder Manifestation instead. Both Electro bosses, but pretty different in terms of difficulty. The Electro Hypostasis will provide 100 points, whereas the Thunder Manifestation will provide 150. And their difficulty definitely going to reflect that. No archers as well on the side of Team Sayonara, so they're gonna be depending a lot on Xingqiu's swords in order to reach this boss when it is in the air.
Yeah, definitely. Thankfully that thing does shoot up though. Oh, and this is the part that I hate about the Thunder Manifestation the most. This cube-looking thing that chases you all around, it does a heck ton of damage. Right?
Yeah, but we're
Waduh,
juking so
Sukrosnya,
well
guys.
around the Bennett burst, but they have lost one member now, and that is absolutely not ideal. Meanwhile, we can see Team Sayonara as well. They're still working on the boss. We can see Sucrose already respawned, but needs to take the long way home, teleport back. They've already made it, but that's gonna be precious seconds wasted.
Yeah, time's definitely up the essence here, you know. You can't just throw it away or waste it as you wish. Both of these players, they have something to bargain on. Like, they are definitely playing for something very important actually.
Yep, and now we can see Team Sayonara going to heal at the Statue of the Seven. That is an option that is available for them, where they can only do it between boss challenges. They can't go and heal and come back in the middle of a boss fight, because that's just a little bit unfair. But now, Team Nothing to Lose, it's their turn to take down the 8th Harbinger of the Fatui.
Yep, and it appears that their strategy is to knock it down as well actually. No crystal flies needed here.
Now, one thing that's actually quite handy here is the fact that Bennett C6 will provide Pyro Infusion within the grounds of his Elemental Burst. So not only are they healing from the damage over time, all of their basic attacks are able to actually pierce through the Cryo Cocoon of La Signora. And instantly we can see how quickly they're able to take it down and move on into the next phase. Whereas Team Sayonara, ever the pioneers, the first team to challenge the Coral Defenders in Enkanomiya.
Yep, the Coral Defenders, these two incredibly huge fish amps actually. Like, look, they enjoy climbing onto the pillars, shooting stuff at you, in fact. It's pretty annoying actually.
Yeah, very annoying. You have to be able to work on both of them at the same time and try to avoid their attacks, because the attack patterns of the Coral Defenders do tend to be a lot more aggressive compared to other bosses. They deal a lot of damage as well. So being able to dodge those is important when you don't have access to shield characters like good old Zhongli.
Yep, and on the other side of things, Team Nothing to Lose has already taken down La Signora actually.
Yeah, very quick work right there. Meanwhile, Team Sayonara still gonna take a moment to take down the Coral Defenders. Look at the damage they're absorbing here, but they don't mind. They don't need shields because they just have to stand inside the Bennett Burst all the time to make sure that they're constantly topped up. Team Nothing to Lose now looks like they've actually started to repeat their path. I'm pretty sure they have defeated 10 bosses by now. So returning to the beginning, what they know they can take down efficiently, the Cryo Regisvine.
Yep, one of the most simplest bosses to defeat. And looks like both sides are gonna be going for the same option actually.
Yeah, now we can see Team Sayonara, they'll be able to make pretty quick work of this as well. Bennett and Jiangling gonna be more than enough to defeat one of probably the easiest bosses in the game. But Team Sayonara, they've certainly been left behind in terms of point total. Very impressed by the progress that Team Nothing to Lose is making. It does seem like they've already determined the specific order of 10 bosses that they want to defeat, and they're just repeating it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just rinse and repeating, you know. If it works, it's not broken, why fix it, right?
Absolutely. It already worked out for them previously. Why fix something that's already working? Team Sayonara now gonna be moving over to the Electro Hypostasis. It doesn't really look like they are repeating the path that they have taken, instead vying for a larger variety of bosses. Both strategies will definitely work, but it all comes down to how quickly they're able to take down their adversaries.
Yep, and those adversaries which you mentioned are dropping like flies actually.
Yeah, these bosses, they definitely don't know what hit them right here. Hopefully, they will have enough elemental application to take down these final remnants of the Electro Hypostasis. Definitely cutting it a little bit close, because only Bennett can consistently take him out, but just barely able to make it. Team Nothing to Lose once again, back to Child.
Yep, back to Child indeed. It's like a merry-go-round, you know. You go round and round and round and eventually hit something.
Absolutely. Child obviously gonna be one of the easiest weekly bosses to take down. Also one of the first. Now, some of you may be wondering, why haven't these teams gone for Storm Terror? Why haven't these teams gone for Andreas? Considering that they would be easier weekly bosses to take down than Child even. Now, Storm Terror, obviously, a single player instance, not ideal. Also not ideal is the fact that their main DPS on Team Nothing to Lose just died. Hazo getting taken out inside a domain as well, which means he's not going to be respawning and TPing back, but looks like the rest of them going to be able to clean him up.
Yeah, and cleaning them up they will actually. They're doing a tremendous job so far, I might say so myself.
Absolutely. So far, point total still very close to one another, but Team Nothing to Lose, we have to remember, they're going to be slightly behind here, just contemplating the points that were earned during the Carnival commissions.
Yeah.
Roughly a how much was it? Roughly 160-point difference. So not only do they have to be ahead of Team Sayonara towards the end of this timer, they have to be at least 160 points ahead of Sayonara.
Yeah, that's definitely something they gotta keep in mind, you know, because it's gonna be what motivates them to perform better, I'd say. And right now it looks like they're gonna be preying on the Mago Kenki once more.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Team Sayonara going for the Aeon Blight Drake. Once again, we're going to be seeing repeats of bosses here. From what I can tell, both these teams have ascertained what are going to be the most effective bosses to take down. And honestly, they're not all that different from one another. They are specifically avoiding bosses that require very specific elements to take down. Things like the Geo Hypostasis, the Pyro Hypostasis, what was Rodea again? What
The
was
Rodea of Lodge?
The Rodea of Lodge. Well, there was another name for that boss. I suddenly cannot remember it.
I can't remember it as well.
It's like the
actually,
more
but
general name for.
yeah.
Why can't I remember this all of a sudden? Someone is about to tell me, how can you not remember this boss's name? For some reason, I really cannot. I can remember their actual name. I can't remember the boss name. I don't even know how that works.
Yeah, but anyways, it looks like the cycle is repeating once more as Sayonara are back to preying on Child.
Yeah. Child, definitely not going to be catching a break here. I don't think he minds too much. You know, he's a battle maniac himself. He's definitely enjoying a lot of this. But meanwhile, we can see Team Nothing to Lose now going back to the Thunder Manifestation. Very difficult boss to have to deal with considering their lineup. Hazo not going to get as many chances to just punch it down as compared to other bosses. But they're doing a pretty good job of just keeping the Thunder Manifestation in place. And again, Xingqiu's swords will be able to easily home in on any enemies that might be out of melee reach.
Yep, that's definitely the case here. And it looks like that they're hopefully at least halfway down with the Thunder Manifestation, because you gotta remember, Nothing to Lose, they have quite a lot to catch up. I mean, like on screen, on paper, it looks like they're ahead by 60 points, but that's not taking into account that the 160 deficit which they had last round.
And that's why it's so important to be able to get that victory during the Carnival commissions as well. I think a lot of teams, a lot of viewers may think, the Traveler Trial is going to be more important because you just get way more points for defeating bosses. But those small differences you get from the Carnival commission now already proving to be a little bit of an issue because yes, Nothing to Lose, they're ahead in points, but it's not quite enough to make up for their loss in the first half of this round.
Yeah, and looks like we're back to the Cryo Hypostasis once more. I'm running out of things to say here. And looks like you're actually going to be opting for the bowling method this time.
Yep, the bowling method gonna be pretty tried and tested. As of now, it does seem like both teams have settled in on a pretty consistent rhythm. They know exactly the pattern of bosses that they want to clear and how quickly they are able to clear them. So all that comes down to at this point is consistency. Whether or not these teams are able to consistently defeat these bosses and not die like what we witnessed here. Again, that is going to be time wasted. Xingqiu, very important character to this lineup for setting up those elemental reactions.
Yeah, and I think that a flaw with 4-star characters are like, if you choose to go with more defensive oriented type characters, then you're gonna lack on the DPS, unfortunately. And right now, it appears that we're back to taking down the Electro with the scratch, that we're now moving on to the Jade Terrace room, I think, for Team Nothing to Lose. Meanwhile, the Cryo Hypostasis is once again getting picked off.
Yeah, so it's gonna be all of these simpler bosses. In terms of weekly bosses that are being defeated, it is actually only Child and La Signora. So that's not all that surprising here when you compare to the other bosses that they have an option of defeating. Obviously, Scaramouche and Raiden Shogun are gonna waste a lot of time. And the same could be said for Aztaha. Even though he himself is pretty much a punching bag, he deals a lot of damage and you don't have Zhongli to be able to tank it, and you're gonna have to wait for him to transition between elements as well. So it's very understandable why these teams have picked these specific boss lineups.
Yeah, and also, you know, like the Raiden Shogun herself, she has a huge health pool actually, so it's really understandable why they don't go for her. In fact, opting to go for the simpler bosses instead.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk a little bit about the lineups that these two teams have chosen to use thus far. Again, no change in party setup at all, so they're just trying to buy as much time as possible without having to swap parties. So we see team, oh wait, are they swapped? No, they're just entering the domain.
Yeah.
And we can see Team Sayonara, they've got a pretty support oriented, like no main DPS, whereas Team Nothing to Lose, they have Hazo buffed by Faruzan. Which of these two lineups do you prefer personally?
I go more towards the Hazel team actually, like Team Nothing to Lose. I much prefer what they're doing because I like to have a main DPS, you know. But hey, if it works, why not?
Yeah, why not indeed? I can see where you're coming from. Having a main DPS does make it a lot simpler to delegate responsibilities to make sure each player knows what they need to do. But at the same time, having multiple support characters doesn't necessarily mean that there is a lack of DPS. It just means that there isn't one specific character dedicated to doing it. And I think that actually is pretty effective as well when you have characters like Xingqiu, like Bennett, because there's just so much utility on these 4 stars.
Yep, can't argue with that because it's really true, just look at it yourself. And also, we're back to La Senora once more. I feel bad for these bosses, you know, repeatedly getting tormented by these players.
Yeah, they signed up for this thinking, oh, I'm going to be a weekly boss. I just need to fight the players once a week. But all of a sudden, they're getting rushed down multiple times in the span of an hour. And there's just like, this was not on my contract.
Yeah, definitely not. Alright. It appears that based on the difference between the scores, Team Nothing to Lose, they're performing much better. In fact, they've made enough to make up for the deficit from Carnival commissions actually.
Yeah, so it does look like what we mentioned about the Hazel composition, having that main DPS, and Faruzan especially, I do feel like adds a lot to their lineup, because these more niche supports, characters like Goro, like Faruzan, like Hujo Sarah, like Shen He, you don't see a lot of universal use for them, but when it comes down to their particular niches, they do add a lot. And in this case, having access to a C6 Faruzan adds a lot of crit, adds a lot of minus and resistance for Hazel to take advantage of.
Yeah, definitely. And I hope that they did build the teams around the constellations unlocked, because do take note that all characters are unlocked, every single one of them, and they'll all be at C6 constellation actually. Something that most of us wish we had, but
Yeah.
we'll never have it.
Absolutely, but being able to build around those C6 constellations is going to be very important here in order to really maximize on the utility of their characters. As you can see now, Team Nothing to Lose once again going to be wailing on La Senora, whereas Team Sayonara definitely fallen behind in terms of their pace. Now going for the Magu Kenki. Again, a very annoying boss because he as well has a lot of iframes. He looks like he's standing there. It looks like you can smack him, but you just can't. And that does waste a lot of time, especially on a team composition that relies on these elemental bursts. If you pop your burst at a bad time, that is damage wasted.
Yeah, definitely. The iframes, right? We abuse them, and so do the bosses actually, if you think about it. Like, just denying the elemental burst is gonna be such a huge drawback for the players, but that shouldn't matter here, I feel. And Team Sayonara, they're catching up actually. They're gonna try and take this back home with them.
Yep, things definitely starting to look quite tight. Nothing to Lose, still maintaining a pretty solid lead right now. That is going to be 100 and... oh, hold on, that is now only a 50-point difference. Again, these weekly bosses really add a lot of points to your total. So Nothing to Lose, again, really needs to close that gap. They need so many points to make up.
And that's it. They can't revive. They lost.
Oh, that's bad.
Yikes.
That is really bad right there. That's a wipe. They have to reset the domain and challenge her again.
Yeah, because in domains, right, your characters, if they die, they don't respawn. And in this challenge, you can't use food either, actually. That's something we forgot to mention. Oops.
Yep, food buffs, potion buffs are not allowed on all of these teams. So if you guys are wondering, why don't they just use Adeptus Temptation? That is why. There is a restriction on that. And that is going to give so much time for Team Sayonara to catch back up, because Nothing to Lose, they have to TP back to the statue, they have to regen, they have to re-challenge La Senora from the beginning. They were already in the second phase. Ooh, that's gotta hurt.
That's definitely gonna hurt. It's gonna put a dent in their plans, actually. Whereas Sayonara, they don't mind. They're just constantly farming and farming. Meanwhile, Team Nothing to Lose, they're gonna give their second attempt at taking down Signora this time.
Yeah, looks like they're gonna be choosing not to use their past chance to just skip Signora and go for something else. The points earned from this weekly boss are going to be very valuable to make up that difference. But what did it cost them? Team Sayonara now have the lead, and we know Team Nothing to Lose, they are the ones in a disadvantageous state going into this stage.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate for them actually that Bennett died, because you know, when you're having a race against time, you're definitely going to want as much damage as you can, but that also means that you're sacrificing tankiness, maybe even some health regenerating characters, you know, the healers and so forth. You're going to be sacrificing that in terms of damage, which I totally understand where they're coming from. But look, it does have its disadvantages actually. One wrong move and your whole party's dead actually.
Well, in a carnival like this, sometimes you just gotta go for that high risk, high reward. Playing it safe, as you mentioned, is gonna cost them time. If you go for a character specifically for giving shields, that is a whole character's worth of damage that you could be missing out on. And when you're racing against the clock, against your opponents who are evenly matched on the other side of the table, every single moment is going to count.
Yep, and we have 3 minutes left actually. It's getting really close, but as of now, Sayonara, they definitely have the lead. And not to mention, this is without factoring in the addition of points from Carnival Conditions. If they add that in, they will definitely have the lead. So Team Nothing to Lose definitely gotta catch up, you know. And Sucrose is there.
That's rough again. Thunder Manifestation hurts quite a lot. Now we can see, oh no! Bennett is dead again!
Yeah,
on Team Nothing to Lose, no healing
Yeah.
on this team. Hazel dropping real low as well, their main DPS. They had to stand around these little things. I don't know what they're called. I don't know if they have a name. I probably should. But they're able to just clean it up, just barely. Ooh, that's a sigh of relief.
Yeah, definitely. Imagine if if they failed the second time, that's gotta hurt, and it would definitely put them more behind than they've ever been.
Failing to defeat a boss twice in a row is basically going to be like a death sentence in the Sea Carnival here,
Yeah,
because
definitely.
all of these teams are very strong Genshin Impact players, very knowledgeable, very skilled travelers, and they're just not going to allow for mistakes to go uncontested here. You see your opponent, you see, ooh, they just made a huge mistake. You're just gonna keep going.
Yeah, you definitely gotta keep going. You can't just back off or take a break, because there's 1 minute and 20 seconds left actually. Time is catching up with them.
Only a single minute left. Team Nothing to Lose, they've actually done an admirable job of regaining their point lead in this short span of time, but it is still not enough. I'm very worried about them right now. As they continue, they're going to be repeating their path now, once again heading to visit their good old friend the Pyro Regis Vine, whereas Team Sayonara, next stop, going to be the Coral Defenders. Now this worries me a little bit, because with 1 minute left on the clock, I do feel like going for an easier boss would be more ideal.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you could take down the double bishop in 1 minute.
Although true, but you remember, you gotta wait at least 10 bosses before you can take it down, so perhaps they used their chance earlier, and now they might regret it actually. And also do note that they can't see each other's scores if I'm not mistaken, so Team Sayonara, they might think they're ahead, but in fact, they're gonna catch up.
Well, I think what's important for both of these teams is just to acknowledge that you could be ahead or behind at any stage of this carnival, so it's more important to just focus on your own game instead. And with the final 5 seconds left, I don't think either of these teams are going to be able to successfully clear out their final boss. So the point totals gonna be pretty locked in at this stage, but we cannot be too certain. We have to wait for confirmation from the side of production to make sure we can determine which of these two teams will be heading into the semi-finals.
Yeah, but just based on watching alone, right? Who do you think won?
Oh, that's a difficult question to answer there. Considering the point totals, Sayonara probably are just slightly ahead, but I'm honestly really impressed with how quickly Team Nothing to Lose was able to make up point differences. It looked like they were behind from the beginning, then they catch up, they lead, they actually died to La Signora, but they're still able to maintain a very even point total.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive by them, honestly. I thought that they were gonna be permanently behind. Oh, we've just received news that our winner's gonna be right.
Ooh, okay, looks like we've heard it. It's time to announce the official result. Our first semi-finalist for the Genshin Impact C Carnival is none other than Team Sayonara, our winners of our first quarter-final match today.
Yeah, huge congrats to them actually. Props to them because they mounted how should I say this? Nothing to Lose actually mounted quite a comeback, but Team Sayonara was able to stop that, put it on a halt, and grab this victory with them.
Yeah, grabbing that victory and running with it. I bet they're feeling very proud right now, and they should be. That was an impressive showing, a really strong sense of competition from both these teams, and definitely evenly matched as well. Excited to see who's going to be up against them next, as now we have our updated brackets. Let us have a look.
Alright, as we have on the screen, Sayonara have made it out, and unfortunately for Nothing to Lose, they've been kicked out of the bracket, but still, that's nothing to weep about, right? Because they still have $1,000 plus. Actually, wait, did I get it wrong? I think it's something like that, but at least they have 1,000 Primo Gems for each player, so that's quite nice to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Just because they will unfortunately be finishing their Genshin Impact C Carnival journey here doesn't mean that they won't be going home with some rewards and the pride of knowing that they were able to make it this far. Congratulations, GG well play to Team Nothing to Lose and to Team Sayonara. Good luck, have fun for the semi-finals. We'll get to see them again tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be looking forward to that actually. So, what do you think about what just happened? Like, let's put it in a summary. I'd say that at first things looked like, it was really head on head, but nearing the end, they managed to keep their pressure from start all the way to end actually. I think that's quite incredible. I thought it was going to be like, quite a clear cut, like we're going to be able to see who's going to win first, but constantly it's so difficult to tell, right? Because at first it looks like one side's on the, how should I say? At first it looks like they are low on points, and next thing you know, oh, they suddenly came out and we have no idea how they did that. So I guess it's maybe the rhythm and the order of bosses they fought in. That's quite impressive actually.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know what goes through these players' minds and what kind of strategies they're thinking of when they decide, okay, we're gonna go for this boss first, we're gonna go for this boss next, because it just seemed really efficient. It seemed like they were very comfortable with what they were doing, they were very knowledgeable in their objectives, and when it comes to things like this, stamina gonna play a pretty big part, because you think, playing Genshin Impact is very chill, very casual, very fun, and of course, it's still fun here in the C Carnival, but you gotta make sure that you don't end up dropping your momentum, losing your grip here and there, because fighting bosses for that long straight really does take a toll.
It does take a toll actually, in terms of both mental and physically. Like, you gotta be moving your fingers on keyboard, like that, something like that, right? And then also the mental strain. Like, I could feel that Team Nothing to Lose, they must have had a huge panic when Bennett died actually, their one and only healer.
That's always the risk, right? When you only run one character as a healer and you have no shields, once that character falls, you're stuck in a really awkward situation. It's quite lucky for them that during the second time they were facing La Signora there, they already got her low enough that Bennett's death didn't actually matter too much. But it still got very close, very tight. And that's just really unnerving. It puts you on the edge of your seat. You're thinking, will they clear it? Will they not? Who knows?
Yeah, it's very hard to tell actually. But once again, congrats to Team Sayonara. And right now, we might be... Oh, sorry, scratch that. So, I think that if this is our first quarterfinals, then the rest of today might be quite the show actually. But here we have the players and... Oh!
A good show of sportsmanship from both sides, both teams acknowledging that they put up a good show, they put up a good fight, and of course, in the end, we all love Genshin Impact. So, let's pose for a group photo here and congratulate to both teams for making it this far and demonstrating what it means to truly be a traveler of Tibet.
Yep. And also, do remember once again that this is a carnival tournament, so we're glad that everyone's in the spirit of having fun, they're all enjoying the time, because that's what counts actually.
Absolutely, and you can see both teams definitely getting to interact with each other, having fun. They know even though they might be competitors, they're all enjoyers of the same game, lovers of the same title, the same characters, the same waifus, the same husbandos. So you know, we can all connect over these joint things.
Yeah, definitely. And it's all about what gaming is about actually, right? Because it's not always about the straining, it's not always about the sleepless nights, it's not always about winning the prize. I mean, we could have fun in games. That's what games were created for in the first place actually.
Absolutely, and having fun is what the Sea Carnival is all about. So, just to provide a little bit of an update to anyone who might be joining the stream a little bit late, you're currently watching the Genshin Impact Sea Carnival playoffs happening live here at Comic Fiesta KLCC. If you guys are in the area and you don't know this is happening, make sure to drop by and have a look. And for those of you joining us from online, thank you very much for taking the time to witness this glorious and eventful event.
Yeah, definitely appreciate all the support that you guys give, and do know that we appreciate it a lot actually.
Absolutely. So make sure you guys don't go anywhere. There's still going to be 3 quarter-final matches to close out the day, where we are going to be chopping our team pool in half. We're going to be seeing 4 teams moving on to the semi-finals. Now, of course, we have to thank all of the viewers for joining us, but we also have to thank the people who make all of this possible. Our sponsors, our organizers, Genshin Impact Sea Carnival, of course, going to be sponsored by Genshin Impact themselves, organized by IO Esports, and supported by Predator. Thank you very much to all of these parties, because they're the ones who make this possible in the first place.
Yeah, huge shout out to all of them actually, because without them, this couldn't have happened. Like, this entire thing couldn't have been organized without the help from these associations, groups, companies, whatever you call them. So, huge shout out, thanks a lot, seriously.
Make sure you guys show them some love. We already love Genshin Impact, but make sure to let the other sponsors, the organizers, know that we appreciate this whole event. Because, yeah, like we've already highlighted a few times, Genshin Impact is not really a competitive game. It's not really something we get to watch in this sort of manner, but this has been made possible, and I'm hoping to be able to see more events, more carnivals like this in the future. And if you guys agree as well, make sure to show them some support, some love.
Yeah, definitely. That was quite a show, I must say.
Absolutely. Like, what are you feeling right now? Like, now that we've actually gotten a taste of this format, the Carnival Commissions and then the Traveler Trials, what are your thoughts?
How should I say this? Well, it's proof that even though Genshin's not like a competitive game or anything, it shows that even when you're just having fun, you can turn it into quite a competitive scene, if I must say. And, you know, because, let me be honest, when I first heard of a Genshin competition, or like even a carnival in some sense, I was like, how are they going to make a competition out of this actually? But now that I see it, it's possible actually. Anything's possible.
Anything is possible. I think that's a good tagline overall. Having the Sea Carnival become a thing, and that's possible. We get to watch all of these players come from all over Southeast Asia to enjoy the festivities together, to show us what they've got, to demonstrate our abilities as travelers of Tibet. Anything truly is possible. So the next time you guys are thinking, I could not possibly roll this 5-star character, remember, anything is possible.
Anything is possible. I must say that I hope the next 3 matches, if they are as entertaining as this one went, then okay, today might be quite a good day actually. Plus, with all of the fans heading down here to Comic Fiesta today, quite an entertaining day, I must say.
Definitely, definitely. When we watched both of these teams, they decided to go for the strategy of having just one party, so they don't change their lineup at all, even though they have the option of 4 different party setups tailor-made to specific bosses. So, like, what do you personally think? Do you think this is a good idea here? Do you think maybe they should go for more varied lineups? Like, what do you think?
Wait, sorry, can you say what you said just now? I kind of got distracted by something.
I believe you know, they both use one party lineup, right? Both teams. Do you want to see more of that? Do you think that's the good strategy, or do you want to see different lineups from one team? Like they have 4 parties. Do you want to see 4 parties?
I'd say that, you know, it's up to them pretty much, honestly. But in terms of preference, I'd say that this one party trick, it's worked quite effectively actually. Like when you invest more of your time, it's actually quite like a trade actually, right? Like when you invest more of your time, more of your knowledge, when you invest it a lot into like artifacts or maybe even weapons, characters, which one you're gonna pick, it's quite good actually, and it appears that it's quite effective. So it's more like a quality versus quantity sort of thing, right? Would you prefer to have 4 different party setups, or would you prefer to have one super well thought out one? It's kind of something like that. And I guess the different situations may call for different scenarios. We never know.
Yeah, I guess in terms of efficiency, we've already gotten to witness both of these teams use one party lineup, and not having to switch lineups between bosses definitely does seem like the more efficient way to go. But if I have a little bit of personal bias, obviously, I want to see more different parties, you know? You see more characters, they're the lifeblood of Genshin Impact. We all love our waifus, our husbandos, our whatevers, you know?
Our whatevers, yeah.
Our whatevers.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I can see where you're coming from, because if we want to see more diversity, right, more adversity between the teams, then going for the 4-party setup, it's quite an experience actually, because so far we haven't seen very many, in fact we haven't actually seen anyone pull something like this off. So if the following teams that are gonna play next, if they do try this strategy, it'll be quite the eye-opening experience actually.
Absolutely. Are there any characters specifically that you would like to see in the following rounds? Like we got to see the common use of Bennett, Xingqiu, we got to see Sucrose, we got to see Hazel, Faruzan. Who else do you think deserves to be put on a Traveler Trial party lineup?
No personal bias here, but the new character Scaramouche or the Wanderer, if he gets picked, then that's gonna definitely be something entertaining, because do note that in Carnival commissions, he can fly.
That's
so
true.
You remember the coconuts we were talking about? Because I'm not going to try and pronounce that name, I'm going to butcher it so horribly, but imagine being able to just fly up, you levitate, and then you pick it. That's quite nice.
That is true, that is true. And again, having characters that can have that utility of doing damage while also helping you move across the map more quickly are always going to be valuable. So we get the feeling that in future Carnival commission stages, we're still going to be seeing a lot of Yelan, which on one hand is, I guess, a little boring, but you know, you can't argue with efficiency. But let us move over to our host real quick. I think she's got some things to do, some interviews to happen, so Choo Choo, take it away.
Thank you for amazing classes, none other than Sadafa and also Julian. You guys been awesome. A very interesting match, and congratulations to Sayonara again. But not just that, we have more happening here in KLCC. If you guys haven't got a clue, we are having the Genshin Impact Southeast Asia Carnival. I'm Chichi, I'll be your host for the entire 2 days of the Comic Fiesta. But you know what? We can't wait to see what's happening here. One of it is going to be the amazing cosplay. Come on, guys. Oh, they're so cute, by the way. I mean, like, we have... Come. They're so scared. I'm so sorry. Come here. I love Naida so much. I love Hu Tao. So, what's your name? Miss Hu Tao. What's your name? Miss Naida. It's okay. Kenny? Oh, so cute. Kaylin. Kaylin. I'm so sorry. This is, you have channels? Oh, but do you have any? But you guys should come over. Look at how great. Just spin over for us. Look at this, Nadia. Do a bit of Naida cosplay for us. How Naida does it? It's like she's very shy. Don't be scared. Can you turn for us? Yeah, look at it. Oh, the details, the bells, everything. She's so cute, by the way. She's like real Naida. I wish she can actually jump, like how she did the skills. But for our Hu Tao, look at her outfit. Can you have a bit of a twist for us? Yeah, there you go. don't know if Utah carry a handbag, but it's okay. So how do you think about this event so far? Is this your first time cosplaying Genshin? Do you do other characters too before? What characters you actually do? You literally do everything. You literally do everything. Kaylin, come here. Come here, baby. She's so scared. Okay, how do you think of the Genshin Impact Carnival and Comic Fiesta so far?
It's good.
It's good.
Yeah.
You have fun?
Yeah.
Do you cosplay other Genshin Impact characters other than Nahida?
No.
Your first time? Really, your first time? Wow, she did it so well for her first time. Oh my god! You do it yourself?
No.
You have a team helping you?
Some people.
Oke guys, masih ngobrol-ngobrol guys, kita matiin dulu ya guys ya.
Why are you getting further than come here? She's like, I got Nahida for my character too. Okay, don't do this to me. I